Actually, I was going to let Mr. Reschenthaler go because he's got a
Okay, well, my friend yields. Mr. Reschenthaler is recognized for question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Dr. Burgess, for yielding to me. I will be incredibly brief. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to just ask for unanimous consent to enter into the record a New York Times article entitled "Alone and Exploited: Migrant Children Work Brutal Jobs Across the U.S." It was published the 25th of February of this year.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Briefly, Chairman Green, would you like to just talk about the fact that there's children coming across the border? This New York Times article that's just been entered in the record cites at about 85,000 that have just been lost. No one knows where they are and what kind of impacts that might have on a migrant child.
Yeah, that New York Times article was pretty damning of some of the decisions made by the Secretary of Homeland Security. And the New York Times is not known to be a conservative, reporting institution, but they specifically cite that the problem was a decision made by Mayorkas to stop the background checks on the sponsors. And by doing so, these children are being basically collected in 20, 30 to one sponsor and then being used in incredible inhumane conditions. It's just appalling. And so you take the 85,000 that we don't even know about. I mean, these are people that went through the program, were sponsored. Some of them, we actually know where they are, but they passed through a sponsor that never got a background check. There are 85,000 out there. We don't know where they are. And you mentioned that, children in the pathway. I mean, we visited on the border a rape tree where the undergarments of the young girls are placed on the tree as a trophy to the cartel members who bring them here. When you open the border, and let's assume for a second it's well-intentioned. You open the border, everything's catch and release. The cartels saw the opportunity. And so they seized that opportunity and began trafficking humans for a price. Homeland Security investigation says it's making the cartels $15 billion a year. In that process, incredible inhumane things happen. Again, Doctors Without Borders, not known to be a conservative Republican organization, said 35% of the women are raped. So if you open this up, you create this mass wave, you are facilitating human trafficking, you are facilitating what's happening to these children. If we use the legal process, this doesn't happen. And that's the point of this, is really, honestly, is on the asylum side especially, just getting back to the way the law has been written. So it's a tragedy, honestly, of epic proportions, and thanks for asking the question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. Without a yield back.